idea what the mark was. No, there's no indication whatsoever. But there again, God showed him what? Mercy. Just like we said, he could have just said, okay, you killed your brother, it's your turn, goodbye. He offered mercy. He offered grace. He offered restoration. Okay? Where does Cain go? Oh, now notice too, when I was reading through it, I thought to myself, the bully does not want to be bullied. Oh my, I can kill my brother, but don't kill me. Where does Cain go in verse 16? Now, who said that before? Your turn. Yeah. Yep. Yep. He went away from his presence into the land of Nod. I can think of no sadder place to be than out of the Lord's presence. While these verses in Genesis 4 center on Cain and his relationship with Abel and with God, there are others who have been affected by Cain's decisions. Who are they? Yes, but right there in Genesis 4, who else is affected by Cain's decisions? Look at verse 1 and 2. The parents. When God pronounced the consequences for Eve's disobedience, he told her that her pains in childbearing would increase. There is no definitive Hebrew definition for that word, whether it meant the actual delivery would be painful or the actual bearing of children, meaning the whole life that that child or you live. Either way, it works for me because it is definitely difficult. Okay? It said her pains in childbearing would increase. There can be no greater pain for a parent than the loss of a child. For Adam and Eve, it was not just the loss of one child, but two, for Cain would not have been permitted to return. Nowhere in Scripture is it recorded how Cain's parents reacted to his decisions, but I believe it is safe to say they were devastated. Would you not be as a parent? May God's comfort and peace be with those who have suffered the loss of a child, whether through death or the choices of the child or children. While our student book stops at verse 16, the remainder of Genesis chapter 4 gives us more information concerning Cain and his parents. Verses 17 to 24 tell of Cain and his life in the land of Nod. Yes, according to verse, 17? Yep, Cain finds a what? Cain finds a wife. There is no definitive answer as to the origin of these other people. Perhaps they were from children born to Adam and Eve before the fall. Whenever it says, your pains will increase now, maybe there weren't any then. Maybe they were being fruitful and multiplied and there were children. We don't know. There is no answer anywhere, and everything that I read said we have no idea. But we just know he took a wife. Okay? It is another one of those things that we have to accept by faith and go on and realize that Cain took a wife and he had children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Okay? What about Adam and Eve? Who joins the family in verse 25? Seth, another son, and they named him Seth. Now, if you would please, go to Luke 3:23 to 38. Okay, that's good. And that could very well be, yes. Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah, we don't know. Some females, as you will find, are listed later because they have certain significance in the telling. But yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. All right, what do you notice is in Luke 3:23 to 38? If you have those wonderful headings in your Bible, it'll tell you what it is. Luke 3:23 to 38. Okay. Luke gives a genealogy of Jesus. Okay? Now, if you remember back in Matthew, we've all heard about the begats. And this one begat this one, and this one begat that one. That's a common one. There's a major difference in the two genealogies, though. Matthew was a Jew writing to the Jews. Matthew was a disciple of Jesus. He was a Jew writing to the Jew. Therefore, his genealogy begins with the father of the Jewish nation, who was whom? Abraham. Okay? But Luke was a Gentile. His writings were to let the readers know that Jesus came for all the world, including Gentiles. Therefore, his genealogy goes back to the beginning. Matthew starts with Abraham and ends with Jesus. Luke starts with Jesus and ends with who? In verse 38. Keep going. Okay. He ends with Adam, Seth, Adam, and God, letting you know that Jesus came from God and he's for the whole world. That was Luke's purpose in his genealogy. Sadly, another consequence for Cain was that he was no longer considered part of the family tree for the Messiah. It should have been who in the family would have been part of that sequence? It would have been the what? Oldest. It would have been the oldest son, but he lost that right, okay, because of his sin. All right? While we are there, how is Adam described in Luke 3:38? The Son of God. We know God created him. We know God breathed his life into him. He was considered a son of God. I can think of no better title to bear. And fortunately, in 1 John 1:3, the beloved disciple reminds us, see what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called what? Children of God. And that is what we are. He created us, he designed us, and he breathed his life into us. As his children, are we obedient to his word? Do we desire to spend time with him and learn from him? Adam and Eve spent a great deal of time walking with him in the cool of the day. When we stray from his teachings, do we go looking for him to ask for his forgiveness? Seek him and he will be found. Or do we wait for him to come looking for us like Adam and Eve did? Oh, by the way, I have a side note there, which I probably shouldn't put here, but I will real fast. We talked about how Adam and Eve learned to sew fig leaves together. I figured out what they used. They used bird poop. Do you ever clean up bird poop off of windows? It takes forever. I was thinking of that the other day when I was cleaning the bird poop off my new windows in my new house, in my new addition. I thought, this is what they used to put those fig leaves together with because you can't get it off. Super glue. It was nature's super glue. There you have it. Sorry. I do. You're just now figuring that out? Anyway, let's get back to the lesson. Sorry. Or do we wait for him to come looking for us as Adam and Eve did, which he will do? And when he questions us, are we receptive to his mercy and grace? While it would appear that the story of Cain and Abel has a very sad ending, it is full of hope in reminders of a God who loves, pursues, warns, and protects us despite our flaws. May our hearts always be open to his questions, his leading, his teachings, and his love. For next week, read Genesis 6 to 9, so that's 4 chapters, and pages 16 to 19 in your student book. And God bless you all. God bless us one and all. Thank you. Anything you want to ask, or I can research for you? Exactly. 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 Yeah. I mean, it's all in, we just have to accept it that that's the way it is, and that's the way it is. It is, that's my mantra. It is what it is. So, all right. Exactly. Yep. It works. It works. All right. You know the drill. Mr. West, would you close with prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, once again, thank you for this time that we have together. And what we learn in your word and just for the truth that you put in there for us, the guidance that you give us, and the direction that you have for us. I pray you would continue to be with Robin tonight as she transitions up to her rehab place. Just help her to get back on her feet as soon as possible. I pray you be with all the prayer requests that surround us right now. And again, Lord, just help each one to sense your presence. Be with us this week, the rest of the week, and